cult evangelist, child predator, and sexual deviant.
Now it's just me, John Bulla again.
These are all words that perfectly describe the man we'll be talking about today. His social media pages consist of depraved and obsessive messages to women all over the world.
Hello, I'm John Bulla, and this is the place where I want to meet people. There's a Subway restaurant. I want to meet very beautiful women.
He's been to prison before on incest and chomo charges, and was somehow able to still walk the streets as a free man for years after the arrest. Then he mysteriously died. This is the story of John Bulla. I hope you enjoy it. John Stephen Bulla was born March 24th, 1954, and he has most recently resided in Pensacola, Florida. The truly early days of John's life are mostly unknown, other than mere allegations from John himself, which makes sense because he was born before the internet was even a thing. Despite this, I was still able to find some pretty interesting stuff about the guy because he was chronically online during the years 2010 to 2018.
Here's evidence of a flying saucer. It's hard to see for some reason.
But before we look at his social media pages, let's talk about what we do know concerning his personal life before the internet infamy. When John was 6 years old, he was over at a friend's house just hanging out. He says things took an unexpected turn when that same friend shot him in the stomach, nearly hitting his heart. So if this is true, John had a rough start in life from a very early age, and it didn't stop at being shot before age 10. Reportedly, John's stepdad was consistently sexually abusing John around the same time he was shot. Because of the abuse, John says he turned to God and was praying every day for the death of his stepfather. And in some wild turn of either divine intervention or pure coincidence, John's stepdad would pass away a few years later. Because of this, John started believing that he had a close connection with God, basically started believing himself to be a prophet, which as you'll see is a very self-evident fact about John. Some years later in the 70s, John graduated college with an IT degree and soon after converted to the religion of Mormonism. Not long after his conversion, John had found himself a wife, but this wouldn't last long at all. I'm sure you're probably wondering what he could have done that was so bad it warranted a divorce within a few years. So let me explain. John and his newlywed wife got a divorce because he was found guilty on child molestation charges involving his new stepdaughter. On top of the divorce, John ended up serving some jail time for this incident, but not enough.
Hello, I'm John Bulla. I'm making a video. This is Ivanka Trump. And I'm making a video.
After getting out, he was obviously done with the Mormons, and now is when he found his self-proclaimed true calling. Allegedly, John was a preacher or member in a very cult-like religious group known as the Church of Christ with the Elijah message. It's pretty unclear as to what caused John's eventual exile from this group, but if I had to guess, it had to do with his belief that all men other than him who are in a relationship are the devil, which obviously causes some issues if any taken women are nearby. The full timeline so far is pretty blurry, but I'm going to summarize it again to the best of my knowledge. John graduated college in the 70s and was married shortly after graduating, most likely caused by his conversion to Mormonism. I believe the incest and aggravated incest charges he acquired in 1994 is the time that he assaulted his stepdaughter. So he was married for around 10 years before being convicted on incest charges. Allegedly, he served around 10 years in jail, and once he was out of jail, he converted to the Church of Christ with the Elijah message, but was once again exiled. Despite the fact that John was on the internet getting trolled in online chat rooms as early as 2009, that's not what I want to look at. The year we're jumping to is 2016, roughly 12 years after his divorce. And it's a wild time if you're John Bulla. I'm not sure if this is 100% a fact or not, but I believe 2016 to 2017 may have been John's most prominent year as far as social media goes. Unfortunately for us, most of John's personal pages have been scrubbed from the internet, except for a few YouTube channels, which is where we're going to start our journey. Before we look at the main channel of John Bulla, I want to show you a video he posted in 2015 to his backup YouTube channel, Holy Prophet John. I can't play the full video for you since it's nearly 12 minutes long, but it's basically just John filming himself talking to someone inside of a psych ward. And I don't mean as a visitor. This crazy snuck a phone into the psych ward and was basically just conducting street interviews.
Hello, this is John Bulla, and I'm making a video of a man named Robert Snipes. Don't keep coming forward, back up some.
Hey, sir.
How are you doing, Robert, and what's happening with you? What's happening with you, Robert?
Having a lot of anxiety at times, and I've been talking about stuff. devil.
I really don't know how I should be reacting to mentally ill people being exploited by other mentally ill people on camera, but I just can't help but love every second of it. I mean, seriously, at what other point of the human race did they have the ability to watch two clinically insane human beings talk about seeing the devil and God? What a time to be alive.
Yeah, did you say you saw somebody that looked like the angel Gabriel in your room?
Shadow.
A shadow?
Two shadows.
It wasn't somebody that was dark or light skinned or light? Move back some. You're getting too close. You're getting too close, man. What?
Could have been for the dark side.
Could have been for the dark side, just pretending to be an angel Gabriel?
Yeah, trying to deceive.
Oh, yeah. What about your mother? She's a Mormon and she's got cancer? Is that
Mormon, and she's having colon problems.
colon cancer?
Colon problems.
Problems?
But enough psych ward mumbo jumbo. Let's move over to John's main channel. The first video on this particular channel was posted in 2016 and is supposedly proof of UFOs.
Here's evidence of a flying saucer. It's hard to see for some reason. Keep showing until I get it right. Keep watching. See a flying saucer.
Other than the typical schizo rambling that these people tend to do, the video is fairly boring, but I think it's a great intro clip to what goes on inside the perverted mind of John Bulla. The second video he posted is honestly more significant than the first, but overall has the exact same structure. But instead of schizo ranting about UFOs and aliens, he's going off about the devil and God. At first glance, it's nothing of real significance, but if you watch till the end of the clip, John actually doxes himself on purpose. This self-doxing is the most consistent thing in John's life, other than the schizophrenia, of course. But seriously, as we move forward, you'll see what I mean. The dude puts his name, address, phone number, and email address in every single post he makes. And YouTube, you can't get mad about this because, as I said at the beginning of the video, he's dead now, so I'm not doxing shit.
Hello, I'm John Bulla, and this is my new camera phone that I'm recording this video with, and it even allows me to pause the recording if I need to take care of something else or do something else.
I'm gonna skip about a month ahead now because from January to March, all John posted on this YouTube channel was schizo videos about UFO cover-ups. But in March, one of the most legendary Kuma runs of all time started. In this video titled, quote, "How Beautiful Women Can Meet Me," John shows a nearby shopping plaza and tells his viewers that any nearby beautiful women can meet him there. You can also meet him here if you want to sell him a computer, he said, because he doesn't have a computer right now.
Hello, I'm John Bulla, and this is the place where I want to meet people. There's a Subway restaurant. I want to meet very beautiful women and people that want to sell me a computer or anything else on Craigslist here in Pensacola, Florida, and any other place that I might have, find somebody having something for sale that I want to buy. Maybe. I'm not sure if I need to buy anything from anybody, but I don't have a computer right now. But I might get it through the internet, order it through the internet somehow.
Then he starts his regular scheduled script of letting us know that there aren't many black people in the area, which is so odd. I wonder why you tell us that, John. And of course, he makes sure to let the women know how they can best contact him.
And there's a bunch of places here, and I don't see any black people at all around here, nobody really. Even white people most of the time don't even come around here much. This time of night though, it's late, you know, it's very late, and Anyway,
this is easily John's best behavior when it comes to women. It's going to get much worse the further we get into this video. But before we cover any more of his sexual degeneracy, let's look at a few more schizoid videos from John. This was uploaded in March of 2016 and really showcases what looks like a major mental illness. The very first thing he does in this clip is concern himself with random parked cars on the street, which is textbook schizoid behavior, and then proceeds to list off his Twitter and multiple email accounts. It just never stops.
I don't understand why these people have all these vehicles here, and anyway, I'm gonna make a short video, see if it'll upload to YouTube. My name is John Bulla, and my Twitter.com account name is @Paul PAUL 45 Thomas THOMAS, and my email account name is paul45thomas@gmail.com.
Overall, it's a very uneventful video. He literally just mumbles about how his neighbors are suspicious and shows us his house along with a neighbor's house. But like I said, it does an amazing job at showing us the level of pure insanity John Bulla was blessed with. Here's a small taste of the full video I'm referring to. Other than filming his neighbors and claiming they are acting suspicious for simply living their lives, John uses his time to help cleanse random callers of quote demons that possess them. Take this call for example, from a totally real person and not a troll. As you'll see in a moment, John is sitting in a chair shirtless, holding 2 magazines with half-naked girls and 1 newspaper advertisement for a local massage therapy school. That whole backdrop has absolutely nothing to do with this clip though. No clue why he's like this. Just thought I'd lend a helping hand in explaining what's going on. But enough yapping. Here's the full phone call John had with a troll about the demon that was possessing him.
So anyway, you said you had Tourette's syndrome, right? Yeah. And you were saying that the demon was making you say a lot of bad words, right? Yeah, like. Yeah, you were saying that to me, and I knew it was just a demon making you say that. Shit. Yeah, okay, that's enough. But anyway, you just called me back today. Last night I commanded the demon to leave you in the name of Jesus Christ by the holy priesthood that they have. And he just hung up because he kept on talking, saying bad words. And I thought you moved the demon because you kept on saying that after I commanded him to come out. Sometimes it takes a while for them to leave.
As you just heard, the random caller with a blocked phone number was claiming that he had Tourette's syndrome, and John immediately knew it wasn't Tourette's, but a demon. So naturally he conducted an exorcism, and that call you just heard was solid proof. If you think these types of exorcisms are unusual, then you haven't met John Bulla. This time, the caller is alleged to have a demon that is making him a homosexual, so John lends a helping hand, while still letting him know the rules about homosexuality in his church. In total, this clip is around 3 minutes long, so if you don't want to sit through that, either skip ahead or throw it on 2x speed. But if you listen closely, this conversation is honestly pretty funny.
So you to call what's your name and location. You don't have to
My name is Phil.
Sue?
I live in Kentucky.
Sue?
Phil.
Phil? Phil?
Yep.
And you said you're gay? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gay.
But you want to join...
Delivery.
So you want to join my church, and I told you that God doesn't allow gays in my church. So that's according to the Bible, and then you said you want to join my church, and you said you got a demon in you.
Yeah. And I also have a
I mean, you heard it for yourself. There really isn't much for me to say. In less than 3 minutes, John was able to turn a gay man straight. Next on the docket is John Bulla's presence on Twitter, which is far more sexually depraved than his YouTube. There are seriously too many of these tweets to cover them all, so I've compiled the list of my top 10 favorite tweets sexually from John Bulla. Coming in at number 10, we've got a pretty calm message from John to his beloved Twitter followers. It reads, "Hi, I'm John S. Bulla, and I'm laying down with all these very beautiful women surrounding me, about to go to sleep." And he attached a lovely little selfie selfie down below in case you didn't believe him. Thanks, John. Now we're gonna get a little bit more retarded with tweet number 9. Here, John is responding to another user that said he resembled someone's cat. In response to that, John told the user he was not ugly like a cat and he would block them if they said it again. Classic John. This one wasn't sexual, I know, don't be mad, but I thought it was appropriate to show that he blocks people just as fast, if not faster, than Wings of Redemption, which of course is a telltale sign of a good entertainer. Number 8 is a little bit spicier than some of the other tweets I've looked at, but nowhere near the peak. John lets us know that a few days prior he was called some mean names by random callers, and once again it's got a sexual nature to it. Apparently they threatened his orifices. I think this is a pretty solid all-around tweet from John. It's got all the key elements of his world: rudeness, sexuality, and violence. But I felt it was lacking in the schizo department a little bit. Moving on to number 7. I honestly debated putting this one higher on the list just because of how perfect it really is. But trust me, it doesn't stop here. In this tweet, John appears to be watching his local news channel, but instead of being a happy viewer like everyone else, he harbors internal rage at all the devil men inside the screen. I had to blur most of the special word he used to describe them, but I'm sure you get the gist. When I was making this list, the subtle hints of John in the background are what really make a tweet great to me. So seeing all the schizo sticky notes taped to his desk added a nice touch to this one. And the random clock at the bottom truly emanates the aura of a paranoid schizophrenic freak. Next up at number 6, we've got more hatred of other males and more sexual delusions of females. Really not too much to say here. Just gonna let this one speak for itself. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially entered the top 5. It's about to get a whole lot more retarded here. The tweet I chose for number 5 really sets the tone. John comes out strong here, accusing Gwen Stefani's love interest at the time of being the devil. And he showed some real similarities to Chris Chan when he said he needs to get away from her and let me have her. Both of them truly think it's the other men on the planet's fault that they're single, not their own. I loved the ending too. Signing off with begging a model to f you just gives you some extra style points in my opinion. Tweet number 4 is a much sneakier piece of gold than the others. At first glance you say, okay cool, like usual John is saying other preachers are liars and fakes, no biggie. But if you look closer at that sticky note, it also says, John S. Bulla is not gay. These males are and will be gay. It's almost like John has to remind himself that he isn't gay. Makes you wonder why a truly straight man would have these notes lying around everywhere. Number 3 on my list is easily the most desperate tweet on this list. As you can see, John is once again trying to get a wife by advertising himself online. The first message he sent in this burst was a strong one. He showed all the alleged women where he'd like to take them on their date, which was a water park known as Sam's Fun City in case you were wondering, and then tells them if they agree to this date that they will basically be agreeing to and marry John. I swear, 90% of this guy's thoughts had to have been about sex. Keeping on pace with that thought, we've now reached tweet number 2 on my list. Here, you see John telling any beautiful women who may be reading that they need to block all the police officers they know because, quote, they f you and take you from me. They are robbers. At this point, I'm glad we're about to wrap up his tweets. Reading the obsessed thoughts of a schizophrenic pedophile concerning women is not a fun activity for long, which brings me to the final tweet on my list, the peak of John Bulla content on Twitter. In this post, John tells us that he'll be making 2 new roommate, wife, girlfriend ads to post online. And he also shows us the pictures he will use on this ad, which consist of an adorable little selfie here on the left, 2 pictures of women he finds attractive so that other women know what he's looking for, and a picture of his toilet. In the caption, he also says, quote, get f***ed in hell, don't call me, which may be confusing to some of you. And the answer is actually why I picked this as number 1. Around the time this original tweet was made, John was being called heavily by his trolls, who were pretending to be women online and showing fake love interest to John, basically catfishing him. After this happened several different times, John snapped and that tweet was the result. If it wasn't clear enough, the demons are his trolls. God bless John Bulla. After 2017 ended, the legendary run of John Bulla came to an abrupt end. In November of 2018, John Bulla was arrested on 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 2 counts of felony child cruelty. These are serious charges, and John went off the deep end to attain them. According to reports, John was being very loud in his neighborhood around 9 a.m. So a neighbor went outside to see what was going on, and his 2 children followed him outside. Once they were out there, the man told John if he didn't quiet down, he would be calling the police. So John yelled back, "If you call the cops, I will kill you." Oh, and I forgot to mention, all this is happening while he has a knife in each hand and is wearing a homemade necklace with a knife on the end of it. After threatening the man's life, John rushed at him and raised his knives above his head, which is when the man and his kids ran back inside and called the police. Once the police arrived, John told them he would kill anyone who entered his apartment and stalled for a few minutes longer, but eventually dropped his weapons and peacefully entered police custody. Unlike a lot of people I talk about, John had legitimate claims at an insanity plea. The whole attraction of John Bulla is that he is actually clinically insane. I haven't been able to locate any articles talking about sentences after his knife arrest, but according to people online, the general consensus is that he was sent to a mental hospital after this incident. If you remember earlier in the video, I said John Bulla had died, and this arrest was actually the last time we saw him alive. The implications surrounding his death are unknown to the internet as of today. Some speculate he died of suicide. Others say it was a shank in prison or a certain disease that was really popular around 2021. But no one really knows the truth surrounding John Bulla's death, and I don't think we ever will. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see my sources for this video, check out my Twitter, which is at redmanspeaksyt. I'll have all the links posted there. I love you. Have a good one. Peace.